Yo, what is up guys, I'm hitting you up with a new Etheria restart video today with a SSR Lattice priority tier list specifically for PvP. Thanks to Artia who already made a PvE list, I got the idea and now I'm sitting here and making you a Lattice priority tier list for PvP, because I also know a lot of you guys probably would like to see that type of video from me, because I think the last Lattice video I uploaded was like at the very beginning of the game. But before we start looking at the tier list and ranking all of these guys, quick thing in eigener Sache. If you are not subscribed to my channel yet, feel free to subscribe. I basically upload every single day. And also guys, check out these two videos I uploaded in the last 2 days. You might have not seen them, so go give them a try. The way I structured this list, it's not like best to worst or whatever. I feel like the way I wanted to structure this is more of a approach where you have units that are solid without any skill ups. Then some of them need a little bit more juice, 115, so skill free. And then there are other units that need a little bit more, you need to invest a little bit more in them. So those are the 155 and 515 units. And then we have the Speedsters, which are 411 because of the speed you need, or 114 depending on where the speed is. And last but not least, units that you need to absolutely max skill. You want to run them for PvP, and this is basically how I prioritize them. So not like this is the first unit you need, because it also depends on your playstyle, right? Some of you might like to bruise, some of you might like to cleave, and then others want to CC, right? And depending on your playstyle, you cannot rank a unit like in double S, S, A, B, C, or whatever. That's why I just put them in the specific category. That's about it. Now let's talk about the first unit, which is the Freya. Freya is a speedster. I think there's nothing really else to say about that. And I will put a couple of these units into the same category because these units need all the speed they can get. Otherwise, don't really bother too much using those in PvP. I feel like even Amia with her Dispel belongs into this category as well. And Hellkit is there too. And where's Heinrich? Heinrich is there as well. There are a couple, like there are actually a lot of these units that belong into that tier or category because they need all the extra speed they can get to function, right? They need that just to function. That's really about it. So these units all belong in the Speedster category. I think the like it depends. For example, on a Doki, you could also say she's a 155, or in her case, she's a 515 unit, right? You could also put her in here, but generally speaking, or basically, you need that basic speed because you do try to go for a, I would say, speed battle approach, unless you run her in blood buff, which I have also seen, then she could be here. But like this is depending on like how you want to prioritize them. So this is what I just show you in terms of, okay, if you want to use these type of units, make sure to invest the lattices, free lattices, into the S1 skills or the S3 respectively, depending. Like these two, for example, Hellkit and Hein, have their speed in slot and in skill free, so for those you have to skill up as free. But if you want to use them, then we got Chloros. I feel like he's like a unit I kind of want to already put in like a no kind of environment, but I feel like generally if you want to use him, and that's basically the gist of this priority tier list, if you want to use a character, keep in mind how heavily you have to invest into that character. Chloros, if you want to use him, go ahead, but he needs heavy investment, otherwise he will probably not perform at all in PvP. Then Lily, standard 155, or in her case it's actually 551, but I also feel like she would be a lot better if you completely max skill her. But then again, in a PvP environment, especially if we look at the RTA side of things, right, primary focus, she will get counterpicked at least 50% of the time. And then in the 50% time, you get her. 90% of the time she gets banned. So even though max skill, she would be a lot better. Kind of a waste right now with the Lattice because, yeah, that's what I feel like. Shadow Zanya is the only unit I do not want to rank at all. I just put her down here because I just think she's not even anywhere close to be PvP relevant whatsoever. Then we got Holden. Holden is a solid invested unit. You can also put him like a max skill really, because he just becomes better the more skill ups you put into him. But on a basic, like a lot of people like to use him on like 513 for example. But keep in mind, it's like, this is just letting you know on a basic feature, because here I think that why we want to set this up with this priority list is, what do you need first to start off? If you invest further, then obviously they get better, right? But this is where you start off with these characters. So that's why we put him here, even though like otherwise I can put every unit in max skill because they'd be better. Then we have Veronica. Veronica is a unit that she needs 100%, she needs max skill, otherwise she just simply does not function at all. You need her because 1-1 she kind of feels cringe, and you do need to invest in her as free, and you ideally need also skill ups in her as 1 for the extra speed. And then you also want to use the S2, and that needs also Lattice investment. So she's the type of unit that needs a lot of investment. Then another unit we have is the Naho. Naho needs 145 or even 555. Is he not even a max skill unit? I feel like no, Naho is actually a max skill unit if you want to use him. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think his speed is in his skill 1, and that makes him, yeah, you kind of have to max skill this guy if you want to use him, like otherwise it's getting rough. Well, Lillian is, if you want to use her, you want to probably invest into the S3 and the S2 if you plan on using. I still, to this day, have not seen a single person using Lillian in PvP. You can be the first. If you know someone who knows someone that knows someone, let us know so we have an idea on what she looks like in PvP. But currently, no one actually uses her. With a Revelation, like Revelation pre-nerf, I could have seen her being actually quite good with her skill 2. But right now, it's like, eh. Then we got Yali. Yali is obviously max skill. Batsby also max skill. Those are the units you have to heavily invest into if you want to make them shine. Lilium also is in the same category. Like generally all these DPS units need to be max skilled. Like you could argue Messiah, okay, you know what, Messiah is in 155 category, on the invested category, because if you get him there, he functions, but the more you give him, the better it becomes. Lilium is a 555 unit, and SP and DLA is the same. Then what else do we have here on a general list? I think if you want to use the Ninfo, she has to be an invested unit, because actually, you know what, just a bit of juice. Little bit of juice and she can work. Depending on your gear quality, you can get away with like 113, 114 type of thing. If you need that extra speed for whatever you're trying to achieve or trying to do with our UT, then she becomes a more invested unit. But on a general perspective, just to start or kick off things, 115 is where you want that character, right? Then another unit that is in the same category is the Ling Lao, but most of us have her at 511 anyways, so this is where you want her generally if you want to start things off. Then we got Lilith. Lilith is for sure a invested type of unit. You need to max skill 2 of her skills. S3 needs to be maxed, and either you go with skill 2 or you go with skill 1. Both work actually fine for her generally. But yeah, you need that character needs at least 2 skills maxed out, otherwise yeah, she will not perform at all. Rosa, another unit, if you want to use her in PvP, she kind of has to be max skilled. And then we got Born. Born is a invest type of unit, also needs his skill 2 and his skill 3 max. Ideally you get this as 1 as well, but on a general field, this is what you need for these type of characters to work. Then we got Ziada, same invested. It has to be in the investing category because S2 and S3 need to be maxed, and then on a revelation set you can use her. Then I think Hoyen, to kick things off, you can use her with just a little bit of juice. I think with 114 or 115 or 141, 151, whatever it might be at the end of the day, she can work there as well. Also, a little bit of correction, Beyonce needs to move down. She does need a little bit of juice, but it's her skill too that needs juice, because without that juice she does not do anything. But this is how I rank these characters. Then we get Fushu. Fushu is a solid 111 character. I think some people will disagree now and say, oh no, she becomes better when you invest into her skill 3, especially her skill 3 and also in her S1. So she's the type of 515 or 155, depending on do you like skill 1 or skill 2 more on her, but skill 3 for sure. But generally she's just solid without any skill ups, and if you invest skill ups into her, obviously she becomes better, but still you can use her. That's why put her down here. If you are a bruiser player, she becomes more of a the type of character. And we got the Remoka. Remoka is also a generally max skill because of extra stats, but for her it's all about her skill 3, so a little bit of juice, needs a little bit of investment there, and then she works. And then we got Tiamat. Tiamat is a unit that is also a solid 111, becomes better with skill ups. I am not a Tiamat expert in that field, I'm not gonna lie, so I don't know how much better she becomes if you 115, 515, max skill her. I don't know the difference between a no skill up and a skilled up Tiamat in that sense, but from what I've seen so far, she is solid at what she does, especially when you put her on Amber. It's basically all about her transformation anyways, so very solid unit that doesn't need any skill ups at all to perform. Same goes with Rahu. Rahu is also the type of unit that performs without any skill ups, does his job well. The more skill ups you put into him, obviously the better he becomes. And yeah, he just becomes a monster. Like probably for me, like one of the units I will in the very near future start to skill up, because I do want to have him as like a bruiser counterplay type of unit generally. But in terms of Lattice investment, how you can use these units in PvP, this is where the unit kicks off with solid without any skill up investments. Last but not least, we have Silence. Silence is a solid 1-1 unit as well, because I, for example, my Silence is at 113, works perfectly fine. When I used her in RTA or stuff like that, or PvP in general, I did her job, and basically only like I increased the chance of landing the debuff by 10%, but like generally solid with 1-1-1. And yeah, having more is always better, but to kick things off, it works. But I think there are other units that need it a little bit more if we are looking at it from a PvP perspective. And it's also good to know when you look at these characters now, or when you look at this list now, and for example you say, okay, I want to use that specific character, whatever it might be at the end of the day, right? That you know for yourself that, okay, if I want to use one specific character, then I have to put that unit into that certain amount of Lattice investment, and then I can probably use it for PvP. Some need more, some need less. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Let me know if you agree or disagree. As always, guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it, and see you with the next one. Deuces.